to this week's video. I'm Carlos. This is our journey on Pico Island, and like the thumbnail says, this video is going to be about Insula Atlantis Winery here on Pico Island. We're going to put the focus on them, and I will explain why. This is harvest time. It's already started here, and we're in August, midweek through August I think it started. It's going to continue on to parts of September. And yeah, on this video I'm going to just touch a little bit on why the wines of Pico, or the vineyards of Pico, are so unique and special. I think there's nowhere else on the planet that has vineyards like these. I'll touch a little bit on it, but really for you guys to really get to learn more, I think visiting is the way to go. First of all, where are we? Well, we're on Pico Island, one of the 9 islands of the Azores. Azores being one of the 7 regions of Portugal. We are in the village here of Sao Mateus. It's a vineyard village right on the coast between Madalena and Lages, the 2 top towns. And you'll probably hear some noise here in the background that the winery is at work. It's obviously harvesting, like I mentioned. So also I gotta also say that there is at times some wind, and just thought I'd warn you about that. Pico wines have been around for quite a while, way back. They used to export them to the Czars of Russia, royalty in Britain. That's how popular these white wines were in the old days. It's the varietal called Verdelho, which still exists today. I think here there's 3 main ones: Verdelho, Rinto, and Terroir, if I'm not mistaken. But some of you experts, if I make a mistake, feel free to comment. I'm not a wine expert. I like drinking wine, but I'm not an expert. To really learn, like I said, it's talking to these wine guys with the master. You know, they know their stuff. And there's a lot of people on the island that they really know a lot about the wine, not just wine from here, but from all over the world. And the reason why I said that the wines from Pico are special and that there's nowhere else that grow grapes like here, and it's a lot to do with these, where they grow them, in these walls, right? Corrais, they call them. Basically lava rocks like a maze, and they plant 2, 3, 4 vines depending on the size of them, and a lot of them are through the coast like you see here, and the reason for these walls obviously was because of to protect with the wind, the ocean, the salt, all those things. But also I guess they found out as well that it holds a lot of the heat in even when the sun goes down, and creates a very organic situation with the higher sugar content, and that's pretty much all I know. This is why I feel that, and I've researched a little bit. There's nowhere else that does this, and it's a very unique area. Obviously, you're in the middle of North Atlantic. It's more known for the whites, reds, not so much, just because of the conditions. But before I actually started filming, I kind of went around, showed Insula's vineyards there. He also has a lodging here. Just amazing that just growing off the ground, you know, that close to it. And he also experiments with the normal, I guess, way of putting vineyards straight up, like they do in North America and Europe and so forth. And but a little bit more about Paulo Machado. So Paulo Machado is the owner of Insula Atlantis. He's also an amazing winemaker. I would say he's one of the top, if not the best, in the Azores. And he also comes from this village. This is the village of Sao Mateus, where I also was raised early on, and my mom comes from here. So it's a special place, and one main reason why I wanted to showcase this winery. I would say it's one, there's quite a few now, and they were one of the first ones. And I think it's he does amazing wine here. He's just year after year, he just keeps producing high quality, especially the white wines, award-winning. And I just thought it was, you know, I'll do other wineries, but for now I wanted to really showcase this one. It's close to my heart, this one, actually, because of the village and because I really enjoy his wine. Okay, and I thought it would be interesting for some of you out there that don't know Pico Island Wines. For those of you that do not know anything about wine here on Pico and want to learn, I think to know that these wineries are small, they're personalized, especially at wineries like Insula. It's a very personalized winery, the way they make the wines here. Most of the wines on Pico are made like that, and I think that's special. Okay, it's not a huge production, you know, it's low production, and high quality. Why are the wines made on Pico more expensive than, let's say, the ones from mainland Portugal? Well, one main reason is because, like I mentioned, they don't make as much of lower volume and very hard labor to pick these grapes. All done by hand, not machines. It's really it's a very personalized, like I mentioned, and a lot of work, throughout the year. It's not just the harvest time. They work these vineyards all year, and it's not easy. Okay, and also the weather affects it, but when it comes to picking, it's a hard job. I've done it. My grandfather has an adega here. He's passed away, but my uncle has it now, and I remember picking grapes. It's not easy, and now that's one main reason, and I think the main reason why these wines have to be priced the way they are, and they're getting better because they are producing more, and I think that's great because then hopefully it'll reach outside of Portugal more because they are definitely delicious wines. So there was the time when obviously the wine was they were making a lot of wine here, and then they had that sickness that went through Europe, here included, where the vineyards died. They revived some of them and continued, but a lot of it was lost in the forest. 10, 15 years ago, they decided to start reviving them, which is what they've been doing. So producing more and more volume of wine. So, and they're still reviving them. Okay. So when you come to Pico, you're going to see areas now that are, the forest has been taken away. You're going to just see these black mazed walls. Quite interesting throughout, especially in the areas from basically Sao Mateus, where we are, going towards Medellin and past maybe Santa Lucia, where you find the most, including the area, UNESCO protected area, vineyards that are famous now, and they protected these about 15 plus years ago. And it's, if you're here, you got to go by there. You can even hike the area. It's a beautiful spot. Pico right behind it. And yeah, definitely worth a visit. Another reason that I really like this vineyard area of Sao Mateus, aside from being from here, is because of the location. I mean, right behind us, this winery, you're one of the closest to the base of the mountain, Pico volcano, and right in front you have the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. So it's right in the middle. You have these vineyards that surround, okay, and I think that's unique. That's unique, just the location of it, and the fact that they've been producing wines here for a long time, and I think um, I always enjoy coming here. I like to hike around here. I mean, when we first get here, for example, this year in February, you don't see any vineyards. They're just, and then they start growing and they take over these walls. Sometimes you don't even see the walls. Just and this year they're saying that they have a lot of grapes. The weather cooperated throughout the year, and last year wasn't a very good year. And this year they're saying if everything stays the way it is, there's no major freaky weather coming. They did have a problem with birds eating it, but they've addressed it, and I think they got to keep an eye on that. They also had, I heard, also tourists jumping in to start eating grapes or taking them home, especially in the Czar, with the Czar wines. I thought that was crazy. Please do not do that. That's illegal, and you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So I think they're getting ready for a wine tasting tour here. I'm going to wait till they get in so I can start talking again. But definitely do not just visit the other areas where the wineries are, closer to Madalena. I would make some materials here and Insula a stop. Like I mentioned, Pico has other wineries. It's been growing at the beginning. There was a cooperative now called Pico Wines that's all existed for quite a while. Insula has been around for quite a while, and then the other wineries started popping up, like Azores Wine Company, Lucas Amaral, which is one of the youngest winemakers. Faria Vineyards making very good white Tito's. These are just a few, and yeah, and I think it's growing. There's other wineries now, even smaller ones that I'm not even aware of. That's popping up, and I think they are making high quality wines. I think they do work together, as far as I can see, because it's important to make these wines, make the world know about these wines. I know in mainland, a lot of it's shipped there, and I think they just love the product from here. And I think as they wouldn't be winning awards, right? Especially the white wines. We're talking about world class, and I think anywhere from your Czar, everyone knows the Czar wines, they make that the Verdelo, the high sugar content, 18%, even made it as high as 21, organic, right? So I will do something on Czar, just on Czar, because it's one of the oldest wineries, vineyards, and I that deserves just to do one on them. And they're their owner, Fortunato Garcia, which is he's well known and great guy as well. So I hope to do a few more wineries, just to showcase. Started with this one, and for selfish reasons, and I think highly of Paulo. He's a friend of mine as well, and our families know each other here in Sao Mateus. Everyone's like a family, and I just feel fortunate to be close to this area. I know I've said it before, but I just, even being here in the surroundings, you have some flashbacks when you were younger, and that happens a lot when I'm on Pico, and I do mention that. And I think it's important. It's like anyone going back home, wherever they come from, Italy, France, Spain, that happens. And I think that's makes us feel good, and it's good for us. I actually did a wine tasting not too long ago. I had some guests here stay at our vacation rental, and yeah, they loved it. I think it was a family, and they were here, did some wine tasting, and really loved the wine. Actually, my cousin Bernardo was the in charge. He was doing the tasting with them, and I think just I recommend it if you really want to learn more about the wines. Do a tour with a tasting. A tour will take you to all the vineyards, wineries with tasting, or just do a tasting. Pick a couple of them and just really experience the quality and the different varieties of wine that they're making here on Pico Island. Also, I'll touch on the winery. He's upgraded here. It's not a huge winery. Okay, that's why it's special, because it's all personalized. Paulo Machado is hands-on, feet on the ground. He's right here. He used to be involved with Azores Wine Company, but he went back to the original roots, which was here, Insula. And because it's a lot of work, and I guess, I always said, how so much going on here? How can you do all this? But he's really now back on here 100%, just focusing. He does help other wineries make their wines. Again, he's a master winemaker, so he puts his signature on some of the other great wines that you could buy on the island. He does have a wine here I tried the other day. I mean, they're all good, but this one really killed it. I'm just going to have to look here. It's called Chão de Lava. Chão de Lava. Chão means ground of lava, something like that. It was quite unique. I mean, they just pop fruity, and you get the acid, and all the environment too, with the salt in the air. I mean, again, I'm not a winemaker, but all this stuff was happening when I was drinking that wine, and I think that's what happens when you drink a lot of these wines that are made with these local grapes. And it's also interesting to taste the ones that they're using, these local ones that are originally from here, Pico, and they start mixing it with the other ones. It could be maybe even other varieties that you find in Portugal. Maybe they do have Merlots and Cabernets now here, Shiraz and all this. So they're really experimenting all over, young winemakers, the older ones, and I think they share information, and I think that's awesome. I want to learn more about wines, and I think I'm going to learn it on here, because through here you could also learn about the rest of the world, because you got a lot of people coming in that are professional wine experts to here, just to see what's happening here on Pico Island. And I've talked to some of them, and they shared some of their own, in other areas. I spent half a year in Canada, so I'm very close to Niagara-on-the-Lake with all those about 80 wineries. I've gone to a lot of them, and it's great to just learn about the world of wine, because a lot goes into it. It's not just wine, it's the lives of the winemaker, the people that pick the grapes. And on that note, I'm going to recommend a movie that came out about 20 years ago called Sideways. Sideways was a movie that really explained what wine's all about, the lifestyle of wine, anything to do with wine. It really explained to that it's more than just us drinking it, enjoying it. It's what goes into it, the life of the wine, from the people that pick the wines, that take care of the wines, that makes the wine. It's a whole life in that. Every time we take a sip, there's a life in there. And I connected with that movie, and it really touches on it. It takes place around Santa Barbara, California. And I thought it was one of those movies that I always enjoy watching it, because it's a whole wine's about life in general. I was just told that they're actually picking some grapes not far from here, a vineyard just down the road. I'm going to see if they're still there. This way you can see them at work, how hard it is. This is, your back, but this is how they've been picking grapes here on Pico forever. Way back to my grandfather before him. his father, grandfather. You know, this is just continuous, right? No machines, and just a whole everything is really by hand, you know, and or carrying those on the shoulder. I've done it hard. So let's see if they're still there. Okay. All right. So I found them. They're now they're picking grapes just about here. These are ready to go up to the winery. I was just talking to Paulo, and he says there's a lot of grapes, a lot. Good to hear that. Look how beautiful these grapes are. I'm not sure which, maybe it's Verdelo. It's one of the local. Rinto, Tirantejo. I'll ask one of these guys. See? And this is not flat, they're on an incline. And you can see Pico. If it was unclear, you can see the rest of it. But this is pretty much, they got to do, how many of these vineyards they got to go through. And that's why the wines here have to cost a little bit more. But they are delicious. People that are young, very young to older, all doing this. And the grape was Terroir variety. These guys they're experts here. It's nice and fresh right now, which is good to pick. Sun's kind of covered. It helps. Let's get close to this maze here. See how this is all lava. See this? Then you get the grapes in there. Terroir, see them? Hopefully you guys can see the grapes there. Not easy to walk on this. Let's get close to this here, a little closer. There. Let's get you guys in here. Isso é para o Paulo, para o Insula. Okay. Nice. Mestre winemakers and pickers. Wow. This is so sweet. Well, it's going to make good wine. Terroir, it's called, from the island. Oh. Anyways, hope you guys are enjoying the video. I think I'm going to end it here. I think the reason why I wanted to do this video was to just showcase a little bit of Insula, this really nice winery, family winery here on Sao Mateus area, okay, in the village of Sao Mateus, Vineyard village. Again, it's in between Madalena and Lages, 25 minutes each way, on the coast, and right on the base of the volcano. And I think it's worth the visit over here. Also visit the other wineries. They're all exceptional. There's so much going on here. There's enough talent of winemakers in the Azores to go around, especially here on Pico. From the young winemaker to the more experienced, like Paulo Machado. He's, like I said, he was just actually telling me that they've so much grapes that they're picking, like, honestly. And I just spoke to some of these guys here that I know, actually from the village, that are picking these grapes, and they say it's like they haven't seen a year like this in a while. One of these was Fernando Silveira. He used to live in Oakville. He's been doing this. He's a master at it, and in super shape. I think if you want to exercise, this is it. You got to come. You can pick grapes. There's actually two kids doing this. They're tourists here, and they wanted to pick grapes, and they're doing it. So hope you guys learned a little bit. Again, I'm not the expert here. I just wanted to put this place on the map. I know a lot of you that have been here probably already know it, but there's a lot of you that haven't. Some of you watching this for the first time, do not hesitate to do a tour to learn about the vineyard, especially if you're interested in wine and the lifestyle of wine. There's also a wine museum in Madalena that's worth the visit. Just talking to the different winemakers. A lot of times they are in the tasting area. When you come for the tastings, they'll talk to you, they'll share information. And I think it's part of Pico, especially. Okay, wine has been part of Pico forever. Okay, it's not just whale watching, it's not just hiking. Wine, especially the white wines, award-winning wines. And on that note, I'm just going to say one last thing about it. Insula Atlantis. And I really enjoyed every time I visit. I've done tasting here before, and I always enjoy talking to Paulo Machado. He's always a wealth of information. Super nice guy, and part of the village, him and his family. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a little bit. I will put some links even to the winery, a few other things that might be of interest to you. If you have any questions about anything, including wine, vineyards, I could always lead you in the right direction. Or tourism. We also have a vacation rental here that I'll put a link to, that you can come during the wine harvest and help them pick grapes, okay? So anyways, thanks so much. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't done so. And thanks for hanging out here in the vineyards of Sao Mateus. Okay, guys, see you on the next video.